Hello friends, greaseballs, virtual women, and members of the National Bolshevik Party. Thanks so much to all of the new subscribers to my channel. I'll have you know that we do things a little differently around here. Alrighty, so where to begin? In the time that I've been on YouTube, one of the most important conversations that I've seen had was regarding the responsibility that comes with having a large platform. There are a number of do's and don'ts that the community has outlined over the past 6 or 7 years, which have been the inspiration for a number of controversies due to the moral code imposed on creators and the desire to keep the people on YouTube safe. While not everyone agrees on what is right and wrong, there are a few things that 99.9% of people tend to agree are big no-nos from YouTubers. Namely things like copyright abuse, going after someone's sponsors, and perhaps the greatest uniter for everyone, wanting to get rid of pedophiles. A number of creators have been accused of predatory behavior in the time that I've been on YouTube, with some cases having more merit than others, some being completely untrue, and others ending in actual convictions where people are sent to jail. The subject of today's video is someone who was actually arrested for possession of illegal content, and is now back on the streets making YouTube videos. Or he was, until YouTube deleted his channel. That man's name is Lionmaker. Minecraft is a game that's extremely popular today, with plenty of YouTubers making a living off of playing variations of the game and sharing their personalities with their audience. In 2016, things were no different. Granted, the game was probably even more popular than it is now, especially among a younger demographic. Channels like Sky Does Minecraft and Captain Sparkles were experiencing their absolute peak in popularity, easily raking in millions of views on each and every video they uploaded to their channels. And with this popularity also came quite a bit of controversy. Some of these popular Minecraft creators ended up being pretty big creeps who were also using their audience for nefarious purposes. There was quite a number of accusations of sexual misconduct among popular creators, with some of the more high-profile cases being the stories of Basherverse, L4Lee, AA12, and the subject of today's video, Lionmaker. Lionmaker Studios was a very popular channel with nearly 600,000 subscribers, being very well known in the Minecraft community. He frequently collaborated with other popular Minecrafters like Stampy Longhead and Sky Does Minecraft, having a very positive reputation in the community and being well liked by pretty much everyone around for the first year and a half of his channel's existence. However, all of this smooth sailing would quickly turn into Chopped for Lionmaker, when on September 15th of 2015, Keemstar uploaded a video where he interviewed the mother of a young girl claiming that Lion had asked her for explicit images over Twitter messages. Most people took the story at face value and it quickly blew up in the community, especially given how the mother stated that Lion had full knowledge of the age of the girl he was talking to when he requested nude photos of her.
Now, how old is your daughter, Susie?
She's 13 years old.
She's 13. So 27-year-old Minecraft YouTuber that she's a fan of asks your daughter to move the conversation to Skype. What happens next?
Well, at this point in time, I didn't know he was 27 or 26 or whatever age he's supposed to be. It was just, this was a person that I had no idea who was asking my 13-year-old daughter for nudes. And that was, for fans go, inappropriate.
Absolutely.
Following this, Lion claimed that he was hacked and someone else had asked this girl for photos, which further perplexed Keemstar and the audience watching from home. But even with this very odd-looking screenshot in mind, Lionmaker's story still seemed much less believable than what she had to say on the matter. All was quiet for the story, and it slowly faded from the public's interest until 3 months later, when Lionmaker was again accused of soliciting images from minors, this time from 2 male teenagers. One of these instances appeared to be Lion trying to coax the young boy into sending him images, and in the other, he allegedly offered $500 in exchange for explicit images. The following episode of Drama Alert was uploaded on Christmas Eve of 2015, where one of the victims details his interactions with Lion.
And when he was 15, Lionmaker started linking him a lot of porn on Skype, and then asked him for nudes and offered to pay him $500. And when Steven was like, really? Lionmaker sent him the $500.
The same month, it would come out that Lionmaker had engaged in an online relationship with a girl who was just 16 years old. Keep in mind that the man dating her was 27 years of age. And while Keemstar was the man who initially broke the story, it would become even more infamous when it managed to attract the ire of YouTube commentators like Pyrocynical.
The story actually starts a few months ago. Originally, Lionmaker DM'd a little girl, 13 years old, asking her for nudes.
While most of these videos provided very surface level analysis of the situation,
That's pretty gay, mate.
YouTuber Colossal is Crazy managed to do a video about it that made sense of the entire mess, criticizing everyone involved and giving audiences a very easy to digest summary of the drama, ending with the conclusion that Lionmaker should have his own channel removed from YouTube because of the danger that he posed to young audiences.
What I do know is that even if Lionmaker is telling the truth about everything, he does not deserve to keep his channel. His audience are vulnerable children, and he was in a relationship with a girl over a decade his junior. With the allegations he's facing, it is disgusting to me that YouTube has allowed him to go unnoticed and continue to make videos for this highly impressionable audience.
Colossal also explained the story up until then in a nutshell, with the following being a basic rundown. Lionmaker had become acquainted with a young girl with a Minecraft channel of her own, called Paige the Panda. They met over the internet, and at some point their conversations became intimate in nature, with it being assumed that Lion had requested that she send him explicit images of herself. This alone is disgusting enough, and people were confident that they didn't want him to continue having a platform. But this story would take a few more truly bizarre turns before it was over. In typical fashion, Daniel Keem had been covering the story extensively on his own channel, putting out video after video talking about the updates to the story and documenting each new accusation that would be revealed.
There are pedophiles in the Minecraft community. There are pedophiles in the Minecraft community. There are pedophiles in the Minecraft community. This guy is a pedophile.
Lionmaker had been spending his time having mental breakdowns on social media, and it was clear to most watching that his mental health was starting to take a turn for the worse. This culminated in Lionmaker publicly posting nude images of Paige the Panda on his Twitter account for thousands to see. Naturally, people were disgusted by this and attempted to flag his account down to get it suspended so that the images wouldn't spread any further. Lion then, in an attempt to gain some sympathy from his followers and the people following the story, posted an image of him supposedly having cut himself. Commentators like Colossal is Crazy quickly chalked this up to Lionmaker grasping for sympathy because the same image could easily be found by reverse image searching on Google. Lion would go on to further dig his own grave by claiming that his Twitter was actually hacked and that he was not responsible for any of what happened on his account. Keep in mind this wasn't the first time he had used this explanation by this point. Needless to say, almost no one took this as an adequate explanation for what happened, and most assumed he was lying. His downward spiral would continue with several manipulative videos where he tried to discredit the entire narrative by exposing Keemstar, crying on camera to his fans and begging for sympathy, threatening legal action against people talking about him, as well as trying to justify his relationship with a girl that young by citing the fact that their relationship was technically legal due to age of consent laws in Europe being much more relaxed than they are in the United States. But none of these videos would successfully redeem Lion and prove to everyone why Keemstar was the master manipulator, as I'm sure he would have hoped he could prove in his videos. The spotlight was still on Marcus, and it became clear to him that he wouldn't be able to save his reputation on his own, leading him to agree to something that almost no one saw coming at the time. After a year of the story unfolding, Lionmaker agreed to participate in an interview video on Colossal's channel. This video would pose a number of important questions to Marcus, giving him an opportunity to give his side of the controversy and answer all of the burning questions that the public had for him. The entire interview is a very interesting watch for those familiar with the situation, especially because of the way that Lionmaker answers questions.
I said, you were 27, she was 16, I'd said that was fucked up, and wrong, and sick. You can say the same for me. If I'm in a relationship with a 16-year-old, I'm 28, same age as you, is that fucked up? It's a very, very simple question. You only have to answer yes or no.
I don't, Colossal, because it's.
I find it interesting that you're dodging that question when it's a very simple question.
I'm not dodging the question.
I don't think you can answer it. I think your moral compass is completely fucked and you can't answer it.
The assumption one must make here is that Lionmaker thought doing this video would be beneficial for him and, at least partially, clear his name. Unfortunately for him, it really ended up doing anything but. Lion has an extremely hard time explaining whether or not his relationship with Paige was sexual. He has a very hard time explaining his philosophy on appropriate age gaps and who he considers to be a child, and he has a hard time talking about how intimate their conversations actually were. The entire thing showed that he was very weaselly and unable to keep his story straight, the result of which being that rather than clearing his name as he hoped he would, he managed to muddy the waters around the story even more.
If I'm a 28-year-old man and I'm in a relationship with a 16-year-old, is that wrong?
Who am I to judge?
You can't judge. It's an opinion. It's a moral question.
No. I'm not playing this game, Colossal.
It's not a game. It's not a game.
It is.
It's a genuine moral question.
No, this is not a genuine question because this is
I don't know why you're dodging it.
I'm not dodging it. I just gave you where I stand. I just told you where I stand If I know who's involved, I don't know you from Adam and Eve. I wouldn't know the girl that you're with from Adam and Eve. I don't know your story. I don't know what is going on. Who am I to sit here and say that's fucked up?
Of course you can, because that's your opinion. Is it a moral problem for me, a 28-year-old man, to date a 16-year-old?
At this point, people really weren't sure where to go with the story. By all means, it had been one of the crazier sagas of the year, ending in the total destruction of Lionmaker's reputation. By 2017, none of his former friends would be willing to collaborate with him, his fans had lost interest in his channel, and the story had completely consumed his life. Anything he would do to try and prove his innocence by then would be in vain. On January 20th of 2018, the Lionmaker channel was removed from YouTube, but by then, almost no one cared. All would be silent for the story until December of that year, when Paige the Panda would return to the internet to give her recollection of events, nearly 3 years after it all began. She claimed that Lion had been in jail for some time, which was also confirmed by an email that Lion had sent to Colossal. However, as YouTuber SunnyV2 would point out, this doesn't exactly add up, as during the time Lion had claimed to have been in jail, videos were still being uploaded on the Lionmaker channel.
Perhaps someone else was uploading videos on the channel at the time, or perhaps he was on house arrest, or something where he still had access to his computer and just called it jail for the sake of understandable wording. I can't open any of the old videos to confirm if it was someone else uploading since they're all now deleted, but it's odd that the videos were still being uploaded despite Marcus apparently being in jail.
This question wouldn't be answered at the time, and there are still some questions around whether or not he actually went to jail, and whether or not there were more victims involved. According to Paige, Lionmaker was in fact drunk when he messaged the 13-year-old girl, and there were other people around at the time to confirm it. She also said that he was never hacked at any point. He had some kind of mental breakdown, made a bunch of dumb tweets, posted pictures of her, and the hacker narrative was completely fabricated in an attempt to save his own ass. Not surprising in the least, but it's good to hear it from someone who knew him at the time, just so we know there's no doubt that he lied. It would seem that this entire story would be wrapped up with nothing else to say about it. Lionmaker had disappeared from the internet for 3 years, all of the evidence against him had been laid out in full, with his reputation floating somewhere in the depths of a sewage plant. Paige had come out against him to give her side of the story at long last, and people had pretty much lost interest in the tale altogether. However, to my surprise, and the surprise of everyone else, in January of 2019, the hero of our story returned to YouTube to set the story straight and prove to everyone why they're wrong. He was going to clean up his reputation and prove to the world why Keemstar, Colossal is crazy, Pyrocynical, and everyone who ever said anything ill of him would rue the day that they acted like slanderous pieces of shit. Except, of course, that's not what happened, and instead, he just made a fool out of himself. Again. Unfortunately, not all of the content can be accessed because YouTube has since deleted his channel, getting rid of hours and hours of content that's now lost to time. However, what we do have is more than 5 hours worth of archives from streams and videos he did that were collected before he was wiped from the website. So sit back, relax, grab a nice bottle of cough syrup, perhaps some week old popcorn, and let's jump right into it.
Dear friend, do you remember the time where I stood in front of others and said you were a good person?
In his short return, Lionmaker was on the path to right all of the perceived wrongs that everyone dealt to him 4 and 5 years ago, starting with reacting to all of the videos people made about him to disprove all of their points. His first order of business on the path to redemption was to respond to the infamous Colossal is Crazy video about him.
So this video was made by Colossal is Crazy back in 2016 on the 7th of March and has accumulated 2.2 million clicks. What I want to say is Paige never ever sent me nude pictures. I need to say this. I have never said this, but she has never ever sent me nude pictures. It paints a picture of her that is not her. She was not that girl. She would never send nude pictures. Like, I can't stress this enough. The fact that he says that the way he does is insulting to her. It's insulting to her character, and that's not fair because she is the victim in the situation. She always has been the victim in this situation, and that people even used her for content and villainized her and mocked her and shamed her. And the fact that this is something that certain YouTubers still do, villainize this poor girl that was a 110% the victim in this whole situation and still is, That is disgusting. So I'm going to bite my teeth here because I know that he's going to be mocking her and shaming her.
It took until 22 minutes into his reaction for Lionmaker to make a real substantial point that I can actually respond to, but regardless, it's just completely irrelevant and misleading. No one, including Colossal, did any amount of shaming towards Paige or criticized her in any way. You would be hard-pressed to find almost anyone making fun of a 16-year-old girl for being groomed by an almost 30-year-old man, and I'm pretty sure Lion knows this. It's just another instance of him doing what he does best, trying to manipulate his young audience into taking his side by using some unrelated argument to attack people like Keemstar and Colossal. He did this years ago when he made a video about Keemstar and talked about him saying the nigger word, as if it has anything at all to do with Drama Alert or the information he was publicizing about Lionmaker. And now he's using some weird narrative about Paige being slut-shamed, I guess?
I need to say this. I have never said this, but she has never ever sent me nude pictures. It paints a picture of her that is not her. She was not that girl. She would never send nude pictures.
It's really some pathetic grasping at straws here. During this clip, we also got an interesting comment from Lionmaker about how Paige apparently aided him in running his channel while he was under investigation.
She was always there for me. She always helped out. She was always in videos. Even when I was being investigated, she took care of the channel.
Which, if you remember, Sunny was questioning earlier in the video. Lionmaker is known to lie, but if we are to believe what he's saying here, then she could have been responsible for the videos being uploaded during the time he was said to be in jail.
What it says on her birth certificate, she is both mentally and physically a child in the way
I would really encourage you to edit all that out, man. It looks really bad. It really does. It was the information you had at the time, but she doesn't deserve this, not to have this there. You should just cut it out. You can leave the video up for all I care. Just cut that part out. It's not right.
More of the same feigning moral superiority over the people making videos about him. Clearly, Colossal was trying to show that Paige is very immature. He wasn't trying to mock her or claim that she had done anything wrong. It's a pretty poorly veiled attempt to sidetrack the real story here. I mean, Lion is literally the 27-year-old who was dating this girl. I'm not sure he has a lot of room to talk about people trying to hurt her.
She never sent me pictures. I never asked for pictures. She never sent me pictures. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So you're probably wondering, you're sitting there, yeah, but Lion, like, where do those pictures come from? Those were screenshots. Those weren't pictures that she sent me. Those were screenshots taken from a Skype call. She never sent pictures. I never asked her to send pictures. That never happened.
I don't know why Marcus has this weird fixation on the semantics of whether it was a picture or not. This is something he did in the interview with Colossal as well, but what he's saying here is that the explicit pictures of Paige that he posted on Twitter were actually screenshots from a Skype call. Kind of a weird detail to include, but what I assume he's saying here is that Paige was posing in a provocative way for him on Skype and he took pictures of it. He's extremely adamant that she never took the pictures for him and he never asked her to send him pictures, but I mean, Lion, what is the fucking difference? Is this really a fact that matters here? You were still in possession of lots of illegal material of someone you were way too old to be talking, and you posted it on Twitter. This weird technicality changes nothing.
That picture was real. And this is one of the things, like, I'm not proud of it, but I cut myself. The reason he found that image in a Google search was because it was a gyazo. That's it. It was because it was a gyazo. If you would like click on that image, it's a gyazo. It's all these little things that I keep dismantling all the time with these YouTubers that really hold no foot, that I really wonder, like, why does anybody even believe anything they say when they can't get the simplest of things right?
I'm not sure how much validity there is to the claim that this picture is real, but even if this is true, he once again seems to be spinning it back to how everyone should feel bad for Paige because of what Colossal and other YouTubers did.
People that know me long enough know that that's my arm. So does Paige the Panda. So it's insulting not only to her to once again be discredited that she went through that trauma. I was irresponsible enough to go and cut myself and then send that poor girl that picture. Yes, I did that.
It's fair to say that Paige should not have been subjected to the media frenzy. This is true. But none of that would have happened in the first place if you hadn't, well, groomed her, posted those images of her on Twitter, and done this pathetically weak stunt of begging her to stay with you. Not to mention, most of the people talking about her and responding to her tweets gave very positive messages to her, only encouraging her to get better and telling her it will be okay. Your criticisms aren't valid, and even if they were, you would not be the one to say them. Frankly, the controversy as a whole was really good for the case. Because if it hadn't happened, if it hadn't come to light, then you definitely would have been continuing your relationship with her uninterrupted. As you admit, the police weren't looking into the case at all until people sent Keemstar's videos to them.
And the funny thing is that the only reason I got a case and an investigation on me was because of Keemstar's videos. And datanews.be wrote into the parquet with Keemstar's videos, and that is the reason why they opened the case. There wasn't an ongoing case that they were talking about. The only reason the Belgian police decided to investigate was because datanews.be wrote into them saying like, hey, there's this guy living in Belgium that apparently people are saying he's doing all these bad stuff. Maybe you should go have a look on him. They didn't look at me because I was doing bad stuff. They looked into me because the internet started spewing that I was doing bad stuff.
I mean, on this one, I can only give Keemstar props for raising awareness for the situation and indirectly getting the authorities involved. Good job, Daniel.
Put him in a cage!
He made a video trying to defend himself, but it turned out to be less of a defense and more of an attack, trying to paint a picture of Keemstar as the villain to very little effect, and not because Keemstar isn't a rat, but because this little piggy simply didn't do the research or chose to ignore it in order to suit his own purposes.
Hey guys, see, once again, painting this image that is completely wrong. I did not make that video. I commentated over the video that was edited for me. He was editing my videos, Tino Mendes, and he was so kind of angry of the whole situation, and we childhood friends. He decided to make this montage and do some research on Keemstar, and then he came to me and said, look, I found some pretty bad stuff on Keemstar. Could you just say this in front of the camera, and then I can make a video and then you can post it on your channel?
I'll be honest, I don't really understand what he's trying to say here. Is he not in control of his own channel, and can he not upload videos at his own discretion? He's basically saying that his friend helped him with it, so it's completely out of his control and it's not his fault that he posted this video. What do you mean you didn't make the video? Are you 10 years old? You're a self-aware human, you're not a child, you have your own free will. You made the decision to upload this video under your name. Therefore, everything you said in it, you are responsible for. You can't just pass off the blame for this as if someone else is controlling you like a puppet master.
You see, the thing is, Colossal, you don't get to talk about accuracy. You did a Google search and found an image that was a Yazo because it was a picture of a picture, and then you said that that was proof that that was not my arm. So you really can't talk about like what's accurate and what isn't accurate, because your video is inaccurate just to start off with. It's ridiculous. These YouTubers are so arrogant. It's insane.
As of now, you have provided one instance of Colossal potentially getting something wrong, which was a pretty minor detail, all things considered. This is 33 minutes into an hour-long reaction, and that's all you have. He then goes on a tangent about how everyone's a manipulator in their content, and he's not the kind of guy that would ever make a mean video about someone, and he was just being impulsive, and now he's changed and grown, and yada yada yada. He's not really saying anything of value, so moving on.
Yeah, that was a thing back in 2016, the time where mocking people's appearances and...
Don't care.
I should have never tried to justify the age gap. It was not to justify. There's really nothing to say about it. All I can say is that how I felt for Paige was genuine. We met 3 times in the 4 years that we knew each other, and wrote to each other almost every day when I was being investigated. And she was about to turn 18 as well, so we were really looking forward to her turning 18 so we could finally just show everybody that, you know, it was all right.
Oh, so he admitted to having met with Paige in person and doesn't feel the need to justify the age gap and doesn't care. Lionmaker said that they were together for 4 years and they met 3 times, and he was looking forward to her turning 18. By his own admission, if this timeline is to be believed, this guy was talking to her when she was as young as 14 years old until she was almost 18.
Hear how I laugh about the 14? Because I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Either, Colossal, you've never really seen manipulation at hand. Manipulation, I would have gotten away with the situation. If I was truly the king of manipulation, I would have gotten away with everything. I got away with nothing. I lost everything. Lost my home, lost my dog. I lost my life. You know, I lost my channel. I lost everything. So, you know, king of manipulation, I would like to extend the crown to you guys. The drama channels. You can share the fucking crown for all I care. because you are the king of manipulations.
I would say that after watching all of this, Lionmaker is indeed still the king of manipulation. He does it extremely often. He did it throughout this video multiple times. He's just not very good at it. The only thing I really learned while watching this video is that he's still very sick in the head, and the extent of his disgusting, twisted philosophy goes so far that he can justify himself starting a relationship with a 14-year-old girl. Truly disturbing. But there are other instances of Lion more blatantly lying as well. In a stream on Leafeasier's channel, Keemstar and him had a discussion about Marcus and Keem's opinion on him. Keem seems pretty reluctant at first to even talk about what happened, but he eventually cracks and reveals that Lionmaker was filing a lawsuit against him, which he then countered by gathering together some of the victims in order to press criminal charges in Europe. This is something that Marcus blatantly denies ever happening.
He was arrested and charged with, like, literally rape with a minor. And
what the fuck?
Yeah, and he had CP on his computer. I mean, he went to court and everything. He went to jail. He was in jail for, like, I think it was a year. And
When did this end up happening? Was this like a year ago?
No, this is a couple years ago. He tried to sue me with international lawsuit and everything, right? He spent a lot of money to do.
I try to sue Keemstar? I never try to sue Keemstar. I never tried to sue Keemstar. What a liar! Oh my god, I can't believe this.
He seems so smug about it and goes on and on about how Keemstar is just lying. Marcus even goes as far as to watch it again just to rub in how much of a big liar Keem is.
You know, for a while, I went so far to kind of try and almost give Keemstar a pass and kind of tell myself that he was just trying to do the right thing according to what he thought he knew, but I never tried to sue Keemstar. He tried to sue me, international lawsuit and everything. Keemstar, what are you talking about? I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Because now there's no shadow of a doubt that you straight up know you're lying. Because I never sued you. I never tried to sue you. Like, that's not, like, what are you on about? You're taking things out of context and you're turning them into something that never happened. I'm shaking beyond belief here because this is insane how they can get away with this.
But during the interview he did on Colossal's channel, he himself said that he was filing a lawsuit against Keemstar.
Yeah, but
And I find that very
you're making it as if I am suing Keemstar because of the specificness of what he said in his videos.
Why are you suing him then?
Not only did he defame me, but he brought hell to my life. He
By
literally
reporting the
brought
news.
hell to my life.
So it's
that is
related
not
to what he
that is not to
reported
be
then.
put in comparison. When I tried to make a video defending myself, trying to bring facts to the table and bring things that I have added up, and I think, like, let's look at this from my perspective.
Watching this clip is so infuriating because of how he refuses to answer any of the questions in earnest, but he clearly was planning to take some kind of legal action against Keemstar. I don't know why he feels the need to so blatantly lie about it now.
Yeah, but
And I find that very
you're
interesting.
making it as if I am suing Keemstar because of the specificness of what he said in his video. I try to sue Keemstar? I never try to sue Keemstar. I never tried to sue Keemstar.
As media outlets like Dexerto pointed out, most of the content Lionmaker was posting were actually streams instead of videos, where he would react to different types of content to reacquaint himself with the community. This resulted in some very bizarre videos, including one where he reacts to Jeffree Star and gives his take on the situation, seemingly without having any idea what is going on.
And I've come to a lot of realizations, and it's been really important to...
I don't know why, but I just get this sense, like, I started to drift off. Like, he doesn't have my attention. I was, like, looking at everything. His surrounding is so, like, it's like he's coming out of the womb. Sorry. Bad joke.
He really seems like he's lost here. He looks so fucking bewildered. But even funnier than this video is multiple hours of him stumbling around while clearly drunk. Without further ado, I present to you the official Lionmaker Studios cover of Falling by Harry Styles.
And I'm sighing again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. What about now?
We also have him drunkenly screaming and flopping around in his chair like a fish that's just been slapped onto the deck of a boat. Lionmaker screaming.
Fuck you, cunt!
Lionmaker sleeping. After a long day of streaming for all of his grateful fans, our hero falls into his final slumber at last, ready to refresh himself in anticipation of another day as a successful YouTube gamer.
I believe! I believe! Fuck!
We also have another drunk stream titled Reading the Entire Lion King script Cause I'm Bored. Unfortunately, we never get to see him read the script, we just see him place his face cam directly in the center of the screen and get hammered out of his mind while intermittently crying.
We're not roaring because I'm telling you to roar. We're roaring because we're hurting. We're hurting. We're all hurting. And all these YouTubers that you watch are lying to you. They're all liars. And I'm here losing my mind, losing my shit, telling you to roar. Roar.
It's almost sad for me to see this man constantly spiraling downward, and if I didn't know who he was and what he did, I might feel a little bad for him. The guy is documenting his descent into madness constantly, broadcasting his pathetic life to the world for everyone to see. But even after seeing his mental state and all of the evidence presented against him, Lion did seem to convince a few children that he was in the right and had done nothing wrong. Archives of the comment section shows that he did have some people supporting him and wanting him to come back, saying that he did nothing wrong.
Everyone should look. Here's some comments. Everyone should look to the future and leave the past. Specifically for the people that threaten and insult Lionmaker. The people that mentally harm others are the ones that do the most damage. This is in defense of a pedophile. Lion, you still bring joy to thousands of people every day.
Thousands? I'm pretty sure it's like 4 people last time I checked watching a stream.
I grew up on your channel. Haters will be the haters. Best thing is to bounce back. I know I'm late. I hope things get better, Lion. Know that your true fans always love and care. Holy shit, dude. This is like an entire rabbit hole of like children that have been like
children who
what
are like,
the
I
hell?
love him.
These comments were in a video titled Lionmaker Breaks Down During Confession, in which he seemed to have a call with some kind of online therapist and had a breakdown on video. It's very weird that he recorded this to post on his channel. Most people don't record therapy sessions, but in my eyes he saw it as a way to gain some sympathy from his young and impressionable audience. If I had to guess, the kids watching the video and supporting him are as young as 10 years old, and at that age you're really not able to make emotional decisions in any way. They see this guy whose videos they enjoy, they see him crying, and they instantly feel bad for him, regardless of context. Now, as I've already referenced before in this video, Marcus's channel has been deleted by YouTube already, and I suspect any attempts he makes to come back will meet the same fate. In literally any other circumstance, I would be highly against the deletion of a YouTube channel, a position I've defended time and time again. However, in this case, I have to support YouTube's decision to ban him. I do not think that people who are convicted of the crimes that Lionmaker is guilty of should be able to operate a channel where they can potentially use their young, impressionable audience to satisfy their sick urges. I would be completely fine with Lionmaker being banned from every social media site if it means he will never be able to get anywhere near a child again. I could not be happier with their choice to get rid of him. When Lionmaker was terminated, he decided to make a post on his Instagram page talking about it and giving an update to his followers. The question was never if, rather when. In all honesty, deep down I wanted it all to end. My behavior was short from causing the inevitable. I'm okay, really am. I have been focusing on becoming a dog trainer, which I will share more soon. I understand some might see this as a victory, but I don't see this as a defeat. It will never be a competition. It was never a competition to me. Everything will be okay, and I will return one day when I'm more focused. I love podcasts, and we'll be doing a few in the near future. Love you all so much for the support. We got this, guys. Chin up and walk straight forward. Lion emoji. He would also post a video on his Instagram where he noticeably has a haircut and is wearing a chain. Definitely a refreshing new look for the guy in comparison to what we've become accustomed to in the past few weeks.
So, good luck. I'm focusing on different shit. And we all know how much I can just move on and not care. So, good luck with that. I wish you all the best. And I'll be back.
Take it easy, guys.
Preferably, he would be in jail indefinitely, but I think we may have to take what we can get on this one. Once again, props to YouTube for taking down his channel. Sometimes their response to community pressure is good, and this is a great example of that. We've seen multiple cases in the past few years where a YouTuber is accused of being a predator, only for those accusations to be quickly disproven and the accusers to be made fun of endlessly in the public court of opinion. I've covered a number of these stories on my channel, most prominently Zaptai and Slazo, two people who were exposed for doing things that they were not guilty of. Since Lionmaker has returned, he has tried to paint the narrative that he is one of these cases, someone who years later will be redeemed, and all of his accusers will be shown to be liars. It's clear to me that he desperately wants this to be the reality, to the point where I think he's basically convinced himself that he's in the right. Listening to him talking himself in circles in his videos is something that simultaneously gives me pleasure and makes me feel honestly kind of sad because the guy is just a pathetic mess of a human being. Someone who to this day is trying to justify his relationship with a girl more than 10 years younger than him. But this is not a case where the accused will be redeemed by any means. It's really a situation where Lion has tried to come back and continue his YouTube channel while also gathering a small audience of people to convince of his twisted version of the truth. But really, he's too stupid and I suspect too drugged out to do that in any capacity. He's actually admitted to being under the influence during the interview, as if it absolves him of any responsibility and anything he said during it. Basically, just using anything he can to rid himself of any shred of responsibility.
It's interesting he references this interview when I explained in my video, which means he probably didn't watch it. I explained in my video how I was completely under the influence during that interview. So trying to characterize my body language, the way I dodged the questions, this and that, yeah, no, you know, this actually isn't even allowed, you know.
Lionmaker, I don't wish you any luck in proving your innocence, which is unfortunate because if you're going to succeed, then you're going to need a hell of a lot of it. But for now, you seem to have given up. I hope you stay the fuck away.
And this is one of the interesting things that even these old videos, because there's some recent videos about me just regurgitating these old videos. It's like people are just chewing on the same meal over and over again.
This is like future commentary video material right here.
Thanks so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I've been Turkey Tom, and leave me alone.